use what was this component? Dashboard, na? Now, so let's say we have this text box. After this text box, we have a button. And I say read value. Okay. So we have this text box, and on click of it, I need to read the text box value. How can we do it without using ng model? On the button click, I need to read the text box value without using ng model. How we can do it?
With the template variable.
Right? So no, without using ng model also, without using template reference variable also. What we can do? We can provide an ID to this text box, txt name. By JavaScript, we can do that, na? Document.get element by ID. See,
Yes,
we have a
yes.
text box, we have given ID over here. Now we write a function, read value, round bracket. Okay. Here what we will do, constant text reference is equal to document dot get element by ID, our text box ID, that is txt name. Whatever we can do in JavaScript, same thing we can do it in Angular also. Okay, so if we got the text box, means if it is not null, then we will read alert text ref dot
Value.
value. It won't allow us to read. Value does not exist. Square bracket, single quote.
For
Yeah.
H1, we used inner HTML, right?
No, this is text box. No? We are reading
But
value from the text box, not H1.
okay.
As it says value does not exist. Let it be, as anyway will go. Okay, so let's add a debugger. So what we have done, on the button click, we are calling this function. We have provided an ID to this text box. We are getting the instance of this text box by document.get element by ID. Then from text ref, we are going to read the value. Okay, so now let's say I write Angular over here. Oh, we restricted 1, 2, 3, 4. On click of read value, see whatever the value we are adding it over here, that getting displayed in the alert box. Means basically we are able to read the text box value. Everyone clear about this? How we have done it? Now,
Yes.
Angular team says we should not directly use the DOM APIs. Means this is nothing but DOM API. Okay, we should not directly use the DOM API. Instead of this, we can create ViewChild. Okay, so now instead of giving ID, we can create a hash property reference variable. We will call it as we can call it as a hash property or template reference variable. Okay. One more tricky question is like, how do we create a variable in HTML? So this is a way by creating template reference variable. Again, at the rate and at the rate late is there. I will inform that. Okay, but this is also a way. So what we are going to do, name ref. Okay. So what I have done on my text box, I have created a template reference variable. The name is name ref. Now inside this at the rate view child. Round bracket. What's the view child? What is it?
Decorator.
Right?
Decorate.
Which type of decorator?
ViewChild.
Property decorator. We are adding this at the rate is in front of a variable, right? X reference. And inside this, we have to provide whatever the template reference variable you have. So this will go over here. Okay. Data type element ref. What type of data we are going to store inside this variable? We are going to get a reference of the elements as so that's why data type is element ref. Okay. And now it will ask us to initialize, but the element ref we cannot initialize, so we will add not over here. Okay, optional. Now, instead, this is plain JavaScript code. Instead of this, now you will do if condition we will add, we will check if this view child is not null. So this dot element ref constant text val is equal to this dot element ref. So now whatever we have it over here, whatever I have selected, this same thing we will got it over here with native element. Why native element is not coming?
So this text ref,
Sorry,
that's the
strip. I'm going to
variable
add
name.
function dot native element. So whatever we used to get, if we select this, same thing we are getting in the view child by writing this. Then dot value. And this value we can put it into alert box. Let's save and check why it is saying. अरे यार text well ना. See, we are able to read. Let's debug it also. So this is not null, right? We got the reference of the element. So this dot native element, we got a particular text box. See, once I'm hovering on it, see this text box is getting highlighted. Then from that I can read the value. I can set anything, style, everything, whatever we used to do by doing this, everything we can do by this native element. Okay. So how we used to get the reference of element in JavaScript by using document.getElement by ID. Same thing we can do by creating a view child. Understood?
सर इसमें नेटिव एलिमेंट हर बार यूज करना होता है हमें
Native element.
ये जो रेफरेंस डॉट नेटिव एलिमेंट है तो नेटिव एलिमेंट क्या मतलब एंगुलर इनबिल्ड करके देता है नेटिव एलिमेंट में ऑब्जेक्ट में स्टोर या क्या होता है
What we are writing it over here, we are getting the DOM element object, right? उस element का object मिल रहा है ये लिखने से, right?
अच्छा
Same thing happening by view child. So Angular is getting us the reference of the element. So we don't have to use the DOM API directly. Angular is doing inside it.
नहीं सर ये तो मैं समझ गया मुझे
Hmm.
नेटिव एलिमेंट का समझना था नेटिव एलिमेंट हर बार अपने को करना पड़ता है डायरेक्टली वैल्यू नहीं मिलता है ऑब्जेक्ट में
No, in this you don't get the directly object of the reference element. In native element you get it.
यदि
Native element is one of the object of text ref, right?
I will tell you why native element we have to write.
यस
Okay.
सर
But
See,
there are some other properties as well,
let do we have any
or
other
just the
property?
native?
Just the
No.
native. Okay. Why native element? I will explain. Let me. So this is clear to everyone. Not
यस
just text box. Any input element value you can read by this. Okay. Let's say this h4. Okay. Here I'm adding hash my h4. Again, we have to create view child, right? So we cannot one view child will connect with the one element. Okay. So if we have to read the h4 also, again we have to create one more view child. Our view child name that is my h4 h4 reference colon element ref. Then over here, if whenever you read the view child value, always add a if check. Okay. Because let's
So
say if we don't give it over here, so see what happens. Here what we did, we have created a view child and inside that we have provided this reference variable, but this reference variable is not over here, right? So if we don't add the if statement, your code might break. Okay, so see.
then what's the difference in writing directive and over here?
Wait, let me explain first. Now see, the text ref, it is, we got an object over in text ref. This is the first view child of the text box. Here we got the object. But if you see this is undefined. Got it? Because whatever the template reference variable you have provided over here, that element is not present. So we got it undefined. So that's why whenever we use the view child, we should always add a if statement. Okay, so that we are sure that yeah, if we got the element, then only we are going to do some operation with this view child. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
constant h4 text is equal to this dot h4 dot native element dot. Now h4 is a display element, right? Let's add it over here. So if it is an input element, we will use dot value, but if it's a display element, we have to use inner text or inner HTML. Okay, alert HR text I'm passing out over here. On click of button. So now you can see it is not undefined. We got the particular element. Okay. So now inside this inner text, see whatever the text we have it inside that element, we got it and that we are displaying into the alert box. Clear? So either it's a input element or a display element, drop down, radio button, whatever dot value will work. And if it's a span, label, div, right? Paragraph, H3, H4, we will use inner text. Clear everyone?
Yes. So
Okay.
Yes, sir.
what's the difference in writing the code?
Same thing, na? Whatever we are doing
It
it.
you use the indirective, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. See the data type, na? Element ref only. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. Because in directive, we get the element because we are adding that directive on a particular element. So there we get the reference in by that service, right? And over here, we are not adding, we don't have something that we are taking a reference of that element by providing the reference, like we are providing a template reference variable and that we are providing it over here. So indirectly getting the object of the element reference element. Okay, so same thing. Just how we are reading the data is something different. Okay.
So basically, if we have to restrict our logic in the component, we
In
have to
component,
use ViewChild.
yeah, in component, we cannot write element reference because in component, you have multiple element. Na? There is no single element, right? But directive, you add it on a single element. So that's why you get a reference of that particular element only.
Mhm.
Okay. Understood everyone? Element reference, how we get it in the view child.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So till now what we have seen, view child with normal HTML element. Now what I will do is in my dashboard component, I will render another component. Let's say pipe component I'm rendering into my dashboard component. So if we have to render pipe component, we have to import it. So pipe component, right? This is our Angular 19 with standalone true, right? So if you want to render one component into another component, you have to import that component as well. So we have done that. Now, okay, app employee was already there. Let it be. Then, so I will use pipe component. Okay. So now in my dashboard component, I have two components loaded, employee also and the app pipe component also. So if you see, we got a pipe also and this employee also. Okay. Now in my dashboard component, I have inner child component, that is pipe and the employee. Now ViewChild are of two type. First, by using ViewChild, you can get a reference of input element, mean your normal HTML element, or you can get a reference of your component also. This is also element, na? If this is element,
Yes.
this is also element, because whole thing we are writing into the HTML file only. Consider if you don't know the Angular, and if you just know the HTML, you will say this is also element, this is also element, this is also element. It's a tag only, na? So there are two ways to read the in view child. First, your normal HTML element, and second, your component selector element, means component view child also you can create. Okay. So let's create it now. So at the rate view child, make sure it is capital V. Okay. Now over here, we want the reference of this pipe component. So here we will write pipe component directly our class name. Okay. My pipe component. What will be the data type? Element ref or something else?
It's of type pipe component.
Pipe component. What type of data we are going to store inside this variable? Pipe component, right? So here pipe component will go. Okay. Now, if this dot pipe component, my pipe component is there,
So we have to give
constant,
the reference on number 11.
where
In HTML, we didn't give any reference.
we don't have to give, na? See, what we provided over here, class name. If you are getting a reference of HTML element, you have to create a template reference variable and that you provide it over here. In case of normal HTML element. But if it's a component, here what we are providing? Pipe component. Directly the class name, which component object you are going to create. Okay. So we don't need
Mhm.
that hash property. Now over here, what variable we have? So this dot pipe, my pipe component dot. So what are the variables we have created in pipe component, variable, function, everything we are able to access. See, course name. Let's create course name. Okay. So now by creating the instance of our view child, but inside view child, we are creating instance of our component. So inside dashboard component, we are able to read all the data from my pipe component.ts. See now, if I click continue. See now, pipe component has so many variables, all the variables I will be able to access. Getting it? Let me show you pipe component
Yes.
again. See, these are the variable we have. We have course name, and in constructor we are assigning value full stack development. So now if you see it over here, course name one stack. Got it? I think one stack might be changing somewhere. So whatever the variable you have created in your child component, means pipe component, all you will be able to access into your parent component. So is this a way of component communication?
Yes.
Right? So when we have to answer component communication, what are the various ways of doing component communication? So ViewChild is also a way of component communication. Input, output, and ViewChild. Two ways we have
Uh,
already seen.
uh, when we use input is from
Parent to child
p-
input, right? ViewChild is
parent to
also
child.
parent to child. If you don't have that child inside over here, okay? Everyone understood first this? How we have read the data of the employee component? Sorry, pipe component into our .ts?
Sir, one question is there.
Yeah.
We adding directly component in HTML.
Hmm.
At that time, we get data from the that same component.
Hmm.
But why we use the here view child? It's already we got data in the HTML.
HTML you got, na? But let's say you want
Yes.
some variable data into .ts. How you can get that?
Okay.
No, na?
For the particular variables. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Right? If you want the variable, declare variable data from your component into .ts, you have to
Okay.
do that. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Now, if I don't have rendered this component over here, okay? If I don't have the selector of that particular component of the view child, whatever I have created, if I don't have the component selector in my HTML, see what happens. This is undefined. Understood?
Yes. Yes.
Because you have created a view child of this component and that component you have not initialized over here. So
Yeah.
this will be undefined.
Sir, but still we can put this code in the child component. So why we are using view child? Because we are not reading this value, we are not manipulating this value with one of our variable in parent component.
No, you can see now here. I'm getting the value from that child component. Now over here, this I can assign it to my parent component variable also, right? Here I'm getting the variable value of my child component. This I can store it anywhere. Here also I can create a variable and that I can assign it over here, just like in constant variable I have stored. Correct now?
So means like if we have to use some values of child in our parent, then
Hmm.
we use view child.
Right.
Otherwise,
That's the
we
purpose.
keep this logic in the child component itself.
No, this is not logic. This is simply see what we have done over here. If you are rendering a particular component in your dashboard component and you want to access all the variables also from that child component into parent component, then only you create a view child. That's it. Understood the purpose?
Yes.
Okay. But if you don't have that selector inside your HTML, you won't be getting the reference of that component. It will be undefined. Just like over here, if you are creating a view child of particular element and that reference variable is not over here, you won't get the reference of that element, right? Just like the same, if your component is not rendered over here, you won't be getting the object over here. It will be undefined. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Anyone having any doubt?
Sir,
Hmm.
which one is better, like in using input output or this one, like
See,
view child?
it's not about something better. View input. What do we do with input? From parent to child, we can send the data. What's the use of output? To get the data from child back to the parent.
Parent.
Both are event based. From output, it's on event. But let's say on the page load, you need to read the data from your child component. So you directly do it like this.
Okay.
In case of output, can we do like that? Once the
Mm.
component load, you cannot get the data now because you need input event, click event, change event. Then only you can emit the data. Correct?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right? So this is completely different. We cannot compare both of the way.
Okay.
Clear, everyone? Now, what are the scenarios where we have to use the view child? Where we have to use the view child? What might be scenario? Okay. Anyone? See, when we use third-party libraries, okay. So at that time, let's say we are using a graph, and inside that graph we have some text, and we want to change the something tooltip is there or some text is there, and we want to change the color of that text box or any element. So that if we are using a graph, that text box will come from that child, whatever the graph we are using. Now you don't have control over that. But by using ViewChild, always whenever we use third-party library, they will provide some class name, ID, something unique to that element, so that we can get a reference of that over here. Then we can handle those things. So when we are using third-party libraries, we normally use ViewChild. Okay, whatever the things we have done it over here means directly getting the reference of the value. This is also possible, but these are very rarely we use like this, because if it's a text box value, what we do, we create a variable and we bind it, and that's how we go. That's how we get the variable value, right? There are very less scenarios where we have to read the text box means display element value. What we are going to, we can read it this sample text, but what we are going to do, there is no actual scenario to read the display element value, but text box value we have to read it, right? But sometimes in interview what they say, I have a text box and on click of button click I need the text box value, or on click of submit I need the text box value, but I don't want to again import the forms module, and I don't want to use the ng model directly, because obviously if we are using ng model again, change detection cycle will be there, angular is performing something. I don't want to increase my what do we say? I don't want to decrease my performance just because whenever I'm typing, my change detection will execute. I need the text box value once I click on the button. So there you have to explain view child. Okay. You understood this
Yes.
scenario?
Yes.
See, this question they will ask you in reference to the change detection. Okay. Let's say we have a text box and on click of button, I need the text box value. On click of button, I need the text box value. But if you create a variable and you bind that variable to the text box by using ng model, whenever you change, you got the value. But he's saying on click of button only, I need the value. So instead of using ng model, you can read the text box value on click of button in your function by using ViewChild. So when text box value is getting changed, it's not going to trigger the change detection. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone is clear? No one has any doubt? We can move ahead then with the next topic. Anyone? Any doubt? Guys, those who are joining for the first time today, you can speak up if you have any doubt. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead. So view child is done. What was the next thing? Hmm. We didn't completed signal, right? Signal we
No,
completed? No, no.
no.
Let's see the signal now. Since we discussed the change detection, let me show you the signal also now. So from which version we got the signal?
I think
17, I think.
70.
Okay. 17 only we got the signal.
Hmm.
Let's create one more component. Tomorrow there won't be session because I'm traveling to Pune. So I will be in travels in the morning. And tomorrow only I will be returning back. So day after tomorrow I will be reaching to Nagpur in morning. So in the evening we will have the session. So just tomorrow we won't have the session, but day after tomorrow we will have session in the evening. Okay. Signal.
Evening at what time, sir?
7 or 8.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Sir, did we cover ng submit directive?
ng submit directive or function? ng submit
There
is
is a
not
like a
function is there,
in
ng
the
submit.
form tag we can use ng submit as
Yeah,
well.
that's a function, not directive. In reactive form, we can use. If your button type is in submit, then instead of writing click event on that button, you can write function on the form tag ng submit. In reactive form, we
That's
normally,
only on reactive form.
yeah, that's it. In template, we normally don't go for that. And in React tool
Okay,
also, we normally don't go for that. We normally stick with the input type button only.
okay.
Okay, so signal
सर
components.
हमारी क्लासेस रेगुलरली इवनिंग में होगी क्या या फिर एक या दो दिन के
No,
लिए ही है
just for one day.
जस्ट फॉर वन डे ना
Yeah.
ओके ओके
Okay. So signal. Mm, Signal is the new thing what we got from Angular 17. So what Angular team is trying to do, how change detection work, by which library change detection is happening.
Zone.js.
Okay. So in Angular, we are using Zone.js. It's a third party library. It's not from the Angular. How when we change the text box value, how that value, whatever we type into the text box gets stored into the variable, or when we click on an event, however event get trigger, all these things are happening because of change detection. It's an external library. Somewhat it is degrading the performance of Angular. Okay. Right. Now they want to get rid of the zone.js so that we will have our Angular speed will increase little bit because a third party library's dependency is getting removed, right? So if we are creating a variable and if we are not using zone.js, so we have to that change detection ref. Okay, let me show change detection ref again. It will take some time. Okay, the change detection reference strategy I will explain later. First, let's complete the signal because again, then it will be a total different topic. Okay, so signal. Signal is like just how we create a variable. How we used to create a variable. Let's say first name colon data type string is equal to empty. This is how we create a variable, right? We can assign the variable value, like let's say in constructor, by getting a reference of that element like this dot variable, and directly you can provide a variable value. This is your normal variable. How you create a variable and how you change the variable value. And how do you access this variable in HTML? Directly in the
With that
interpolation
or data binding.
or data binding also. Directly you can access the variable in the HTML. But when it comes to signal, signal is also kind of a variable only. But how do we create a signal? How do we read the signal and how do we change the signal value is totally different. Okay. Now, let's say course name. By the look of it, it's a normal variable. But how we are assigning the value? So, colon signal. You use colon or equal to direct? Equal to,
सर
no?
हाँ इक्वल टू आई और कैपिटल एस
Okay. Then after that, here we are saying like in this variable we are storing a data type of signal, and data we means in this variable what type of data we are going to store signal, but inside signal also what data type, so string. And then after that you can provide the initial value. So what we see initial value. So what we used to do it over here, that same thing we can do it over here. Okay. So this is your signal. Your variable name equal to signal small s, then data type, what type of data you are going to store inside this signal, and the initial value. Now this is how you define the signal. Okay. So signal is like a state, variable is also is like a state, same thing is there. But just like when we disable the chain detection, we can still read the value of the signal. Okay, if that signal value get changed, and if we have disabled the chain detection with signal, we can still read the value of the signal. But in case of normal variable, we won't be able to do that, because for normal variable, if the normal variable value get changed, and if we need to read the value, we need that chain detection. Okay. In this component, chain detection, or let's first complete. Okay, so this is how we create a signal. Now, how do we change the signal value? So in constructor, or let's create a button, change course name. Now on click of this button, I need to read the signal value. I need to change the signal value. Change val. Let's create this function. So this dot, our signal name is course name, dot set method is there. We cannot directly use equal to over here. We have to use the method set and the new value, whatever the new value. Okay. Angular. So we create signal like this. How do we change the signal value? By using set method. Okay. Then how do we print the signal value, or how do we access that in the HTML? So we cannot directly print it over like this. Okay. So see what it is saying. Course name is a function. What we did is course name is a function. Is this a function? No. See what
It's a
warning we are
signal.
getting. What it is saying. Course name is a function, right? But it's not a function, right? So it's a signal. But how do we access a signal is like as a method, like this. That's the way how we read the signal, as a method. Understood? Let's print it like this. See, we are able to read the value. If I click on this button, my signal value will get changed. What's happening? Course name only we change now.
तो
This
दोनों
is the
कितना एंगुलर दिया है?
interpolation we are using.
Same angle.
But
सेम एंगुलर दिया है.
Okay, angular ही दिया है. Okay, so see, got it? On the page load in our signal value, we have angular. Once I click, I'm calling the function, and in function, I'm changing the value by using set method. Clear?
yes.
This is the basic of signal. Now just
So
like string,
similar, we access this in data binding.
yeah, same way. Doesn't matter, na? Either interpolation, data binding, or anywhere. You access it like method only.
Okay.
Okay. So just like string, number, boolean, primitive data type, we will use this way. Okay. Is active. Signal. Boolean type of data we will store. Round bracket. False. Okay. Everything behave the same with boolean, string, number. Okay. Primitive data type, it will be using, you will be using the set method, and you will be in HTML, it is not going to change regarding what type of data you are going to store. Okay. Now, the difference is when you store a object or a array in our signal. So there it is something different. Okay. So let's say city list is equal to signal. What type of data I'm going to store? So string of array. Just see properly. Okay. This is tricky now. Inside that, I'm going to store Pune, Nagpur. So I have created a city list variable, but it's a signal. Inside that signal, I have initialized that signal with two elements, Pune and the Nagpur. Okay. Let's print it over here in UL. Instead of directly printing, I'm using UL because we have array. Okay. After that, at the rate for loop, here city list is a signal. So we can access as a method. Okay. Inside this, I'm creating li. Here, I have to do like this. Item as also a method. No, no.
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 Right? So here only we have got the data. Then this is your normal that array element you will get it. Okay. So see, we are able to show the data. Now the next thing is, after this again I need a text box. And after that I need a button, add city. Okay. So one next thing is, when I created a signal, I have stored Pune and Nagpur. If I add Mumbai over here and on click of add city, I need to push Mumbai into my array. Okay, push. So here, when we see, in case of primitive data type, string, number, boolean, everything, we use the set method. But when it comes to array and object, there is something little bit different. Okay. Let's right click event. Okay. Now over here, this dot city list dot, we can use set method also in case of array and object, but we have to use update method. Okay. Now in update, see what type of data, what type of code we have to write in update function. See,
City list dot
if I
push.
hover on the set, what's the parameter in set function we have to pass?
I think string parameter.
See, over here only, na. See, what type of data we can send? String only,
String.
because we have set string over here. Means in case of set method, you can directly provide the value. Clear?
Yes.
In case of set method, you can directly provide the value which you want to get stored to your signal. But in case of update, what we need to do? Hmm?
It's a
It's
function we have to pass in.
Okay. So here, in case of update, what you want to do, you are not going to change the whole city value. Existing, whatever the existing value you have, that you are going to update with some new value. So here we have to make use of your spread operator. Okay. So old object, sorry, old array, then old array. I forgot the syntax. Old, it's a array now. So square bracket old array. Then your new object. Okay, we didn't create it. Let's city name. To read the text box, we need the variable now. Let's assign it over here. Form module is also there. Because on click of button click, we need to read the text box value, right? So I'm using ng model to do that. Okay. So whatever the text box value, whatever the user provided the text box value, that value we will get it into this variable. Now this variable you will provide it over here. Everyone is clear about the spread operator, right? No one is there now who is seeing this for the first time.
If even the city name is also a signal, then how we can use?
As a method, how again? It comes to basic only. How do we access a signal? As a method, right? Round bracket you will add if city name is a
Okay.
signal.
Okay.
Okay. As I said, it doesn't matter where you are writing. How you access a signal as a method only. Okay. So what this is going to do? This is going to combine your old data and the new element. So let's say in your old array, you have two elements. So it is adding new dot push. How do we use to do dot push now? It is same like that. What does dot push does? Whatever the new element you pass, it added at the end of the element. So this is your existing array and a new element. So you are combining both the element, existing two element and the new element. So you will get three element over here. Then that you are going to store in your city list. Okay. So see now. So if I add Mumbai over here, add city, see. Clear? So update method. Now one more variation. Let's add one more button. Here I will say add MP cities. Okay. Now I have one more button. There I'm saying add MP city, means Madhya Pradesh cities I need to add. So what I will do, city list is equal to. Now on click of this button, I need to add a whole different set of cities from my MP state. So do I need the existing value?
No.
See, scenario is there. On click of this button, what I need to do, I need to add cities from MP state. So do I need the existing value now?
No.
Right? So here, this dot city list dot set method you can use, and here you can pass totally new array. Indore, Bhopal, these are the cities from Madhya Pradesh. Okay. See. So it's not like if you store a array into signal, you can use only update method. You can use the set method also. But there is a scenario. If you want to retain the existing value and add some new value, you will go for update method. If you want to change the whole array, whole signal value to something new, then you will go for a set method. Understood, everyone? When we have to go for update and when we have to go for a state method. Update method you will use when you have to retain the existing value, and after that you have to add something new. You will go for update method. But if you want to change the whole value, existing value, you don't want to consider directly new value you have to assign. So there you will go with the set method. Clear?
I have one question.
Hmm.
So if existing city is modified, then how update will work? How update performs?
If existing
Somebody existing city is modified. Suppose Nagpur is changed to Mumbai, right? Then
No, see, again, it's like Nagpur, Pune and Mumbai only. It's not comparing like what was the property we have when we created a signal. When you are writing this piece of line now, whatever the current value it has, it is considering that, not the same value. Getting it? Not the same value. It's not about what value you have. Existing, how many collection you have inside this element. When this line execute now, at that time, what value you have in this city list, that it is considering. Value can be anything. Let's say you created city list with do on Pune and Nagpur. And after that, on click of button or something, this Nagpur got changed to Mumbai. And then you click on this function. So it will consider the new array. At that time, whatever the value we have it over here, not the existing value.
okay.
Got it? It's
This
not
is
about the existing value, whatever
Yeah, this
current
is
value we have. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Everyone clear when we have to use update and when we have to use set method?
Sir,
Yes.
Okay. Same like that
हेलो
object. Yeah.
सर क्या हम इस पे सिटी लिस्ट पे मैप और फिल्टर का यूज कर सकते हैं डायरेक्ट या
Nahi. We know that inside the signal we have stored array of string, but we cannot use that array methods on the directly on the signal. First, we have to get the data into variable and then we can perform that. Add, filter, everything, reduce and everything. Okay.
Okay.
See, where is that? Let me remove this. These are the only options we have. Getting it? Because what's the data type of it? Data type of it? Signal. Yeah, inside that signal we have stored array, right? So we cannot get the access of all the methods we got it from the array. Only signal methods we will get. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Let's create an object now. student obj colon signal. Now here I have not created class or interface. I will go with any. Here, if you have created your class, so that class name you will provide it over here. Okay. Object stud id colon 1 stud name something. Sorry. Fine. So here what I have done, I have created another signal, but inside that signal I have stored object. Okay. Now I will be using this text box only to update the name. I will be like change stud name. So now on click of this button, what I need to do? Let's print this also first. Can we directly print the student object? Will it print? Will it print something over here? Or we will get an error?
I think JSON 5 we have to use.
Right? See, in student object, what type of data we have got object. So it will print that object. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
And if we have to show the object, we have to make use of which pipe?
JSON pipe.
JSON pipe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the existing value. Now, once I click on this button, whatever the text box value we have, that I need to assign into this particular property from my object. Understood everyone what I need to do? On click of this button, whatever the user provide inside this text box, that value I need to assign to this particular property. Instead of Rahul, whatever the text box value I get, that I need to assign it. Okay. So for this, so over here, this dot student object dot update method. As I said, I need to retain the existing value, and from that I need to change something. So update old obj. Then this is an array, so we have to use object over here. Dot 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 old object comma then our key name. So stud name.
Sir, this is object, not array.
No object, na.
But we have to use stud city, not name. That text box is for city.
See, it's a variable, na.
Yeah.
You can use that variable. It's a normal string variable. You can use it in array also, and you can use it in object also, na. What I could have done, I could have created one more variable, but we have the same thing now over here. We can use this text box value. What's the confusion? Clear or no? Sorry, wrong bracket needed, I think. See, what could I have done? I could have created one more variable, one more text box, no, but I'm using this text box only. Get it? Okay. Fine. One more round bracket. Now over here, this dot your city name. Fine. So this is how you update this is your whole object. From this object, you are going to change stud name, means particular property with this value. Okay. So see. By default, student name has the value Rahul. If I change Ankit over here and on click of change name, you can see text box value got changed. Whatever the text box value we have, that we have assigned into our object into particular property. Got it? So if it's an array, you will use like this. Okay, here also you can add a round bracket, because in object you will have to use this way. So try to have a way of writing like this. Round bracket, and inside that, if it's an array you will use. If it's an object, you will use object. Clear? Like this, you can change all the properties also. Here we have where we are changing student name, comma, stud ID, colon. Let's say 3 I'm giving. So from this function, I'm changing the student name with this variable, and stud ID, I'm doing hard code. So see, by default, stud ID is 1 and this is Rahul. If I click, Chetan will be assigned and stud ID 3 got. Understood? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is signal. Now we will disable the chain detection. Chain detection strategy dot on push. So by writing this piece of code into our component decorator, we are disabling the chain detection. Okay. Now, so inside constructor, I'm using set timeout. After 5 seconds, see, this is your normal variable. Okay. What we will do, at the load, I will make it to Chetan, and inside set timeout, I will change it to Rahul. Just pay attention. I have created this variable. This variable, when I initialize, I have provided a value Chetan. Okay, and this I'm printing it over here also in the interpolation. And the same variable value I'm changing in the constructor up in set timeout after 5 seconds. Okay, so just see properly now what happens. So Chetan is there. Let's add a debugger in constructor also. Signal example. Let me add a debugger over here. Let's reload. Okay, so after 5 seconds, my constructor set timeout will execute. See, current value of this variable is Chetan. Here also Chetan is printed. Now I have changed the variable value, Rahul. But if you see the UI, it's still Chetan only. My variable value got changed, na? So it should display the new value. But it's not displaying right now. Why? Because we have disabled the chain detection. So it's not, whenever variable value got changed, its UI is not fetching the new value. This was UI was able to fetch the new value because of the chain detection. But we disable the chain detection. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here we did it with the normal variable. So normal variable, if we change the normal variable value, UI is not able to reflect the new value, is because it is not able to understand if change is happen or not. But if we do the same thing in course name, by default we have Angular, and over here I'm changing this dot course name set dot name. Now see what happens. By default we have Angular and Chetan over here. Okay. See, now new value is getting triggered over here. Understood what happens? When I'm changing the signal, UI is automatically refreshing now. Now UI is again re-rendered. And see, again I will do the same thing. This is little bit hard for understanding, but see now. What we have done, we have a normal variable in constructor. In set timeout, we are changing the normal variable value. Okay, see it properly. Chetan is there. After 5 seconds, I'm changing the variable value, normal variable value. Currently, Chetan is there. I'm changing it to Rahul. My variable value got changed. But UI is not reflected. Means UI is not re-rendered. Okay, whatever the first time we had that value, only that value is available. This is clear. UI is not able to reflect the new value because we have disabled the change detection. Okay. Now, when I'm changing the signal value in my constructor, what happens whenever the signal value get changed, my UI will re-render. So this Chetan value, city name value, whatever the new value it has, it will re-render. Means whole my UI will re-render. So at that time, city name has some different value, no? So that's why city name also value got changed. It's not just your signal. It's not like signal only value will get changed. Your UI value, UI will completely re-render. So that's why here Rahul is also visible. Normal variable new value is also got re-rendered. Understood? Or anyone
Uh,
have any
Sorry.
confusion like how this also got changed?
Yes.
See,
Hello.
when we change the signal value, your whole UI from line 1 to 15 again gets recreated. And now you had a variable value get changed, na? So that it will print the new value now. It's not like when you change the signal, only this, wherever you have used the signal, that value it is going to read new value. Only this is not going to evaluate new value. Whole your line 1 to 15, it's going to re-render the whole HTML. So whatever the new value we have, you will get it.
सर ये पेज रिफ्रेश हुआ है क्या?
Yes,
मतलब
page refresh.
पेज
So
रिफ्रेश
all
कर दिया
your re-render, ये पूरा जो whatever the content you have, it's re-rendering. It's re-rendering. So whatever the new value you have, that you will able to receive. Understood?
अच्छा सर, अभी ये ऐड सिटी और ऐड सिटीज वाला जो अब हमने किया, ये काम कर रहा है क्या? अगर क्लिक करते हैं
Yes.
तो सिग्नल में
Signal
चेंज हो रहा
value
है,
we are getting changed, na?
बट ये तो इवेंट बाइंडिंग का पार्ट था. चेंज डिटेक्शन अगर डिसेबल कर दिया है तो इवेंट बाइंडिंग कैसे हो रहा है?
See, चेन डिटेक्शन डिसेबल हुआ मतलब ये कैसा हुआ, यहां से हुआ. जब भी अपन
हाँ.
क्लिक करते तो ये ऑब्वियसली इंटरेक्ट हो रहा है ना. चेन डिटेक्शन जब यूआई में if we are writing some event, chain detection will trigger. We have disabled the chain detection. If the variable value get changed, it's not reflecting the new value. That's the chain detection we are disabled. But if you are clicking, on anything on the HTML, you chain detection will trigger, na? See, by default we have disabled strategy. It's not like completely we have disabled. Strategy
ओके,
we have changed.
सिर्फ स्ट्रेटजी चेंज किया तो
Yes,
सिर्फ यूआई वाला पार्ट डिसेबल हुआ है, बाकी
right.
इवेंट बाइंडिंग
But
सब
if
चल
we
रहा
are
है.
clicking on it, obviously when we click, our chain detection will come into action.
ओके.
Okay.
तो क्या हम कंप्लीटली ऑफ कर सकते हैं चेंज डिटेक्शन को?
नहीं, अब तक वो नहीं आया.
अच्छा, ओके.
Everyone understood this? Now, this is the advantage of signal. You don't need the chain detection now to receive the new value. Whenever your signal value gets changed, new value automatically HTML will get. So this is what Angular team is going to do in the coming version. They are going to completely remove the zone.js. So your performance, whatever performance it was degrading, it will be working properly without the dependency of zone.js.
सर ये लाइन नंबर 10 की वजह से टीएस में वी हैव डिसेबल्ड zone.js and instead of that we are using on push detection only for this component.
Yes, only for this. We have done it in the component selector. So this is only for this component.
Okay.
Clear, everyone? Again, one more thing is with on push, but right now I won't be explaining that, but again it will be confusing. Okay. So this is how we create a signal. In case of string, we use set method. In case of array and object, we have to use update method, but it's not like that. We can use the set method in case of array of object also, but totally new value if we have to assign. We don't have to compare the existing value, then only we use set method in case of array and object. How do we access our signal value? As a method, either in HTML or in .ts. We always access as a method only. Here, Anyone having question?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So this way, array and object, this is similar to React. In React, we have a hook that is useState. This is similar to that. Okay. So in 1 week, we are going to start a React batch also in evening. So there you will see how we use the same thing in React. So that's what I said. If you learn on Angular, it's a little bit easy to understand React as well, because you know the concept from Angular. Same concept will be there, but little bit different. There also we have routing. There also we have component. There also we create signal kind of thing, but it is called use state instead of signal over there. Same thing is over here. Okay. Fine, everyone.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow morning we don't have session. Day after that, in the evening we will connect. Okay.